Welcome to the Luxe Leap, where bold women turn ambition into action. I'm your host, Reland Logan, and together we'll explore the big moves, smart strategies, and extraordinary branding behind unstoppable businesses. So I have a question. What happens when a self-starting, auction-loving, farmhouse renovating woman turns her side hustle into a storytelling empire? Kira Hartley is a vintage fabric reseller turned accidental author, podcast favorite, and entrepreneur whose journey started with one goal: to support her family while staying present for her kids. What began as a way to make a little extra cash evolved into an Etsy shop, a devoted customer base, and eventually a best-selling book series called Fabric Wars, inspired by the wild tales of tracking down rare textiles. She built her business from the ground up, slipped book promo notes into packages, yep, that led to a reality TV producer calling, and turned her every episode of life energy into a brand that is as bold as it is relatable. Now in her fabulous 50s, with grandkids, goats, buses to paint, a farmhouse to finish, and speaking gigs to prep for, she proves that reinvention has no age limit, and I can't isn't in her vocabulary. Please welcome the unstoppable storyteller, entrepreneur, and creative whirlwind, Kira Hartley. How are you, Kira?
I'm great. That was great. That was nice. Good job.
You're so welcome. I think we need like a little snippet of all the times everyone's like, I love my intro. You're so welcome. But it's because you did it. So just know that's all you. Can only be awesome if the person behind it is awesome.
Well, thank you. I did not know this was my path.
That's incredible, and it really leads to my first question. So what inspired your Luxe Leap, that bold move that started your journey from ordinary to extraordinary?
A divorce. I was always kind of doing my own thing because I wanted, to be around for my kids, wanted to make sure they were staying out of trouble. I was always into trouble as a teenager. So yeah. And, being married and in that type of situation, I was able to just have little bedoinky jobs here and there just to help pay the bills, buy extra things for the kids, support whatever. But when divorce happened, it's like, wow, it's all on me now. Two of my kids were grown. I still had a 14-year-old daughter. That is the wrong time to suddenly decide to leave a daughter home after school. So I just started, putting my brain, what can I do? eBay was brand new. It was my sister that had this idea in her head. She said, I really think you would be good at this buying and selling thing. I was like, you crazy? Because I wasn't somebody that, I don't know, I was always a people person, but I was never a put myself out there person. So it was, I made a lot of mistakes the first couple of times I took a stab at it. And, she's my older sister, my only sibling. I really wanted to be able to tell her she had no idea what she was talking about. But eventually it did work out. So she saw something I did not.
That is incredible. I remember being a little girl, maybe the same age Grayson is right now, like a fourth grader, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's friend's boyfriend worked at eBay, and I had no idea. I didn't understand what it was. I thought it was like day trading or something. Why a fourth grader knows what day trading is should also be analyzed.
I agree.
I just remember the logo so much, and like I'm glad your older sister said that. And also thanks for listening to your older sister. As the oldest myself, we're not always heard. So but I love that it was your older sister was like, hey, maybe you should try this. But also, I mean, I have this business that's named after Grayson, right? Like it's gray digital marketing, not because of the gray area, but because of my baby. And I love that you were just trying to think of ways that you could be there for your daughter. Yes, your older ones were out of the house, but you're right. 14 is a year where we don't think we need our mom, but we like 1000% need our mom. And I just love
that. Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, or whether you'll admit it or not. So it seems like your personal story really influenced the brand that you built. But when you start to think of, I mean, eBay came first and then fabric really started to take off with Etsy. And, then you wrote these books. How did your personal story influence those elements?
Etsy was an accidental thing. I was broke. I was broke my entire life. I married very young, had babies very young, always broke, always bouncing checks, always behind on the bills. It was all I knew. So when I got divorced, I didn't get richer getting divorced. I got a whole lot poorer. So everything that I bought and sold had to be really inexpensive. I didn't have a lot of money to throw away. Um, Technology was not what it is now. You couldn't just pull out your phone. Oh, I wonder what that's worth. We didn't have that technology yet. Yes, we had phones, but you had to guess, and I didn't have a clue what was worth anything. So I would buy things that were a few dollars. I can afford to lose a few dollars. Um, Fabric ended up being one of those things I found one time that was in the backyard. Nobody cared about it. Nobody wanted, well, a few people wanted it, but it sold cheap. So I started to learn about it. I said, okay, maybe if this is something that I can grow an inventory, then maybe I can make money like every day. I can fill orders, rather than, oh, here today, gone tomorrow. I can start to fill orders and maybe I can start to fill a customer base. And it did start to get that way. I had a lot of overseas customers in the beginning. Now I have not so many because postage has gotten ridiculous. But it got to the point where I really needed to take all the fabric and put it into one place. It was getting lost in the confusion. And once I decided to move it over to Etsy, that's when the fabric store really took off. I've always been a writer. It's been my first love my entire life. I tried it for decades while I was married. Small successes, nothing big. So, I started to write these little stories talking about where I found the fabric, things that had happened at the auction with the auctioneer, stories about the estate where it came from, provide a little bit of history, and the customers really started to resonate with that. And so, they started to say, hey, you know what? I would buy your book if you wrote a book. So it's like, wow, really? So everything just came full circle. It was really strange the way that it ended up right where I wanted it to be. And I didn't know that was going to happen. Couldn't have predicted it in a million years.
It always happens in the most wildest of ways. And when I think about your stories about fabric, so my grandma is big on sewing. She always has been, worked at Hancock Fabrics. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. And around the same time, that eBay story, by the way, just taking me back to fourth, fifth, sixth grade. But Hannah, because we don't call her grandma in my house, loves, loves, loves fabrics, and she loves to read it. I know she's going to be so excited because I grabbed her the book for Christmas.
Oh, I'm so
Because
happy you
she
did that. Yeah.
loves fabric and she loves stories. So she is going to be that person whenever that time comes, which I cannot mentally, actually, I can't see this grandma ever passing. Like if there's someone who's going to stand the test of time, it might be her.
Yep.
But I can see us all being like, so how do we sell this fabric? Like grandma has chests of fabric.
You write down my phone number.
I will have it for you, trust me, because oh my good golly, I know there's so much hidden in her place that I'm like, and because she will make whole like chests of clothes for the babies when a new kid is born, like whole sets of clothing. So I don't know where all this fabric's hiding, but I know she's got it. But yeah, I'm really excited to share that with her, and honestly, just to have that interaction. One of my goals this holiday season was to start sending my friends books to other people as gifts because it was just an easy thing. It's like, I know this person and you should read their book because I know you'll love it. So,
I love that idea.
No, thank you. So, what was the moment you realized your brand had momentum and people really got it?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, obviously asking me to write the book was huge.
Yes.
I have a tremendous amount of repeat buyers, and I have a large amount of repeat buyers that have become friends. And it just didn't see me in this place. I have met so many people all over the world, not just through Etsy, but also now with the podcasting and whatnot. I'm taking my book and my shop on the road and going to these quilting guilds because I craft too. I
Yeah.
quilt, I do upholstery work. I'm not insane like some other people are as far as their talents go, but I can hold my own. I can make some stuff, But I don't know. It's just I just this community just circled around me. And Etsy is a very, very big marketplace. I am by far not the only fabric seller on Etsy. And sometimes I will look if I'll find somebody that sells fabric and I'll see how many sales they have, and I kind of get offended. I'm kind of like, well, I'll get there. I have to try not to look at those people. But I have something that nobody else on Etsy has. I have this complete package. I have the fabric. I give the story behind it. And in a world of AI right now, where nobody is giving anything relevant to it, oh, every time I do a listing on eBay, it says, "Would you like AI to write it for you?" And it is
No.
not good enough yet. It is so fake and flowery and just I will not buy something from somebody who uses AI to describe it. I won't. I can't. I don't even know if they're talking about that particular item that's being sold. They're just talking about an item that is like that item. It's just so wrong. It's so wrong.
And
So having that relationship that is developing, having the book that goes with the shop and the shop that goes with the books, it's just one big package. And I didn't know that I was building a brand 8, 9, 10 years ago when I was doing all this and it was all coming together. Nobody
yeah,
was really talking about being a brand back then. It just, oh, I'm a brand. It just was like, oh, wow. It's just, I don't know. It was just there.
you're like, here it is.
Here it is.
Well, I mean, I have a little bit of beef with how people use the term brand these days. And I mean, I have for a while.
Yeah.
Fun things of like personal branding. I'm like, so your personality? You mean that you've always had? Wild.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's and people have been making money off of their image for the invention of television and beyond and radio. Like it goes on, and nobody in the 40s was calling it a personal brand, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So I love how you said you don't want to use AI, and I use AI all the time. But what I will say about AI is it is never the first round. It is not. I don't use AI and plugged in places like eBay, for example.
Hmm.
I won't, because it's not going to get to the core of what, it should or needs to be. To your point, like it's fluffy, it's gross, it's vague, it's saying it's a word salad just chopped up and thrown at you.
Yes.
Instead, I think that, there's a lot of merit in like building your own custom GBTs and writing it the way that you want to write it. And then your inputs are going to determine your outputs. And let's be honest here, the ones that we're seeing that are written by AI, the inputs are trash. So if you're going to put
It's
trash in
so, so,
something,
so
well,
bad. It's so bad.
I-
I just can't even handle it.
you're like, could you just be bad on your own, not with the assistance of a computer?
Gosh, I mean, I
Um,
have customers out there that are assembling quilts, assembling art projects, assembling
yeah,
displays, assembling all these things and enjoying having history behind all the pieces, parts that they're putting together. I had a woman come to me and she says, I am going to make a quilt entirely out of fabrics from your shop, pulling from all your different estates. And then I'm going to write a journal, a book to go with it. And to me, that's everything right there. That makes it worth taking that extra couple of minutes to tell the tale of where it came from, you know. And
that's
yeah, I can copy and
amazing.
paste because maybe I'll find 300-400 pieces from the same estate. I can copy and paste the same story. It's not like I'm working tirelessly, losing
To make
sleep,
it to make a story for everything.
You're right. But I can still make it count. I can still make it relevant and make it matter.
And I think that's the big piece of it is like making it matter. And it is starting to, well, I have tons of friends who do AI, so even they will like anchor down on it. It has to have merit, and like it's not always the first thing, and the first thing isn't
Mhm.
always going to be the best because we have to build up context for these things. So it's really it's really interesting to dive into, but it has to be done right. And then we can go into the whole deep dive of the ethics of it all. But um shifting gears, how would you
Right?
describe how would you describe the unique energy or essence of your brand in one sentence?
Sentence. Wow. I like to consider myself a one-stop shop for the crafter, quilter, historian, somebody who puts passion into their projects. I like to be a resource for that. So I don't know. I like the word resource. Resource is a good word.
Resource is an incredible word. Also, I just
Yeah.
love that the historian piece of it. My brain magically just went straight back to the Civil War era, and just thinking about how they were always sewing things during that time.
Mm-hmm.
In a
And I
big
have
way.
found
But
fabric that old. Anyway.
I believe it. I believe
So-
it. Also, I think they just made fabric better back then.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation, and also oddly complicated since that era comes with a whole war over
Mm-hmm.
a resource to make fabric. So everybody, we have to recognize, and I'm going to say this as a Black woman, we have to recognize that history is history, and it did happen, and I'm not going to pretend like it didn't. Doesn't mean that great things didn't come from it. I don't approve of their actions, but great things came from that time period too, right? It got us to where we are today. The end.
The end. That's just
Just the end. Because that opens a whole other can of worms of how's it going today in America. But anywho, when you think of this past year, Kira, and you really reflect back, and even reflecting back further, if you wish, what decision or strategy most contributed to your growth this past year?
honestly, this year I think that getting more active with the podcasting has really contributed to my growth. I'm not going to say that I am selling a ton more books. I'm selling books. I don't know that that was my goal. I think that my goal throughout this whole thing again is to complete this branding package. But I also think that the closer that I get to retirement, I mean, I'm not going to run this hamster on a wheel life forever. And I would love to get back to my core desire of just to be able to do the writing. I have other writing projects that are on the fire. But it just, yeah, so in the podcasting, I've had an invite to contribute a short story to an anthology. I'm in the running to contribute my top 5 business tips to another book that is going to be published by the podcasters. It's just there's all these different. It's different.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this world existed. I did. I take that back. I was invited to do my first podcast right after the first book came out back in 2023. And she was somebody that she's in textiles, but she knits. She's more with yarn. And she was looking for something to read over the holidays. She stumbled on my book. And so she was my first podcast invite. And I'd never even considered it before. So I was like, oh, okay. And of course, she was around the same time that the producer came knocking. And I attracted the TV producer just by putting thank you notes in all of my packages. Talk about free. I haven't gotten over being free. I'm debt free, but I'm still cheap as ever. So I don't want to ever go back in debt again. So anything that's free is up my alley. So yeah, I'm enjoying the podcasting, and I'm enjoying the free notes. They both have done a lot for me in the last 2 years.
I just love that you send people notes as a thank you to have that personal touch. It's just, especially in such a digital age, like people don't understand how important it is to have those many moments in the mail, I like to say, like the many moments in the mail. And so it definitely holds a lot of heart, and I think people do appreciate that. And on the note of podcasting, isn't it so funny how relationship based this world is? Like there's some who aren't, but there's so many of us who are like, well, I just spent all this time with you. I just want to be your friend now. Can we just be friends? So
it's all my connections now on LinkedIn, it's like, yeah, I know them.
I'm like,
I'm using it as leverage with other podcasters. I just threw it out there to a podcaster the other day. You're really great. You might not want me on your show, but we are both connected to this person. He interviewed me. How about it? So
what did they say?
They haven't responded yet, but it was just last week that I wrote. I have a pretty good
Oh, hey,
percentage
it's the
with getting my
holidays,
pitches
so
accepted. It is. It is.
yeah.
So, and I said to him, like, because he has a ton of connections, and I just love where he's been and where he came from. Even if you don't want me on his show, can you just send me an invite to connect? Because the link wasn't available for everybody, please. Just so yeah,
Oh my
it's
goodness.
been great for building connections and meeting people, and yeah. Yeah, I mean, I talked to
That's
somebody in
amazing.
Norway. It's so weird. How is that a thing? I have an interview coming up in Australia. It's so
Oh my
strange.
goodness. I'm interviewing somebody in Australia this week.
Are you?
It's a
Find out it's the
Yes,
same
it's
person.
wild how you can just connect with people around the world.
Mm.
Gosh, we've had people from England on the show, Colombia, now Australia, Sweden, um, Canada, but Canada's an easy one. It's just
I
like our
did
sister
Canada
right
too.
there.
I still felt good about it. It's still Canada.
It's still not here. So yeah, it's been really interesting how you can connect with people around the world.
Yeah.
And
Flick of a
it's
switch.
beautiful. It is a click of a switch.
Flick of a
I also
switch.
just said beautiful. And Riverside made fun of me saying it's my most used word is the word beautiful on my recap. And I was like, okay, well, I might describe everything as beautiful, maybe a little too much. So for everybody hearing it again for the 1 millionth time, because you're an awesome listener, connecting with people around the world is beautiful.
I get that when I'm writing a manuscript, because I'll be proofreading it and I'll get to chapter 12, paragraph 3, and it'll occur to me, boy, I say that word a lot, and I'll punch it into Word. How many times have I used to be honest or used whatever? And it'll tell me, I'll be like, wow, 339 it's a lot. But then it's like, but
It's
there's
a lot.
130,000 words. So quit judging me. I mean, how many other words do you think you spoke besides beautiful? And they're going to pinpoint that. I bet you said
It was
more.
beautiful. Which is funny because I typically when I'm doing speaking engagements, I notice that I don't say a lot. I actually have a
Hmm.
tendency to pause longer. And so it's clear that I'm more comfortable in my podcast because I only use when I'm super comfy. And then it was how much I laugh and how much others laugh on this show. It was just like a party of like, you guys laughed a lot. I was like, good.
Is that
Could be
bad?
worse. We could be
Well,
so serious.
my smarty pants son, who has a doctorate in education, pointed out to me that in my podcast I say "and" too many times. It's like, okay, well, you don't have to listen. So that's my big word. And
Junction, sir.
right, it's a good word. I used it grammatically correct. So and
Yeah.
so there.
And that's how it's going. Okay. So there.
Right.
Fine. And you're gonna like it.
See, it's a good word.
It's a great word. So this is a funny conversation. I'm actually loving it so much. So when you think of everybody who sells fabric online in these spaces like eBay and Etsy, how do you differentiate yourself from others in your space without feeling performative?
Hmm. I it's so hard for me not to compare because I really want to be the best at what I do.
Yeah.
I've been competitive my whole life. Um, my goal in life was never to be rich. I just want to be really good at what I do. And I want my customers to remember their experience with me. And I want them
Yeah.
to pass it along and send people my way. And I want to, I get handwritten letters back sometimes. I like being different. So to me, that's more important than the person who has sold 20 times more than I have. I have great sales. I'm probably somewhere
You do.
happily in the middle, you know, but I'm okay with that. I don't have much more time, really. I'm so involved with so many other things that
That's
to like,
the fact that you feel like you're in the middle because I went and looked at your Etsy. Okay. And I know that the sales at the time that I looked were at like 55,000 sales or something wild like that. If that's in the middle, what in the world? There's multiple people working for the other folks because or they've been doing it for a million years since dinosaurs roamed the earth. Or Etsy started. Because holy guacamole, like just thinking about how many letters you've had to write just off of those numbers alone. Now, granted, some people might have like bought multiples and it went in one package and
Correct.
here nor there. But that is wow.
I can't complain. I mean, I started it with no knowledge really about fabric. It just landed there. And I just fell in love with it and fell in love with the community. So yeah, I have nothing to complain about. But I know I've written thousands of these notes.
Oh yeah.
I know because several times a week I'm printing out more and getting out the paper cutter, which is getting dull. So, you know, but
Oh
it just
good.
it was one of those notes that got the producer. It which is so strange because I spent decades writing long, really well thought out. I write long pitches, you know that. But
Yes.
yeah, but they're personalized. But I spent all this time and effort writing out very personal letters, and I never got anywhere in my writing career. And I write, I don't even well, it's pre-printed, and then I handwrite something on it. But it took how much time? It wasn't even a pretty envelope, and it just went to the right person at the right time.
I mean, that's really the thing is you just got to make yourself visible, right? Like it is a game of eyeballs
Mhm.
and intentionality and like nobody's going to find you if you don't try.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
that's the
that's a big
goal. If
part of
nobody
it.
can find you, then what are you doing?
Yeah. So well, you're not going to have a successful business, that's what.
Oh,
I'm
and
just going to
nowadays I really think it's hard in the internet world. There's so many sellers out there right now.
there's a lot of competition and the holidays is really a game of, I think I shared this with you, but I for everybody else, I coached cheer for a really long time. Okay. A very long time. I've done cheerleading since I was 5 years old. I'm 35 now. So 30 years of cheer. And I would tell my girls, I only taught co-ed once, everybody. So yes, boys cheer too, but mostly
My
I had
son
all
was
girls
a yeah, my son.
cheerleader. So you get it. Like it's a very intense sport. And I did competitive cheer um at the high school varsity level. And I would always tell my girls, it was like, whoever wins on Saturday, they're the ones who put in the work early. And I would say that at the start of the season in April, and I would be saying it when it was competition season come December, January, February. And I would
Yeah.
always tell them like whoever wins is the person who's putting in the right work right now. And it's going to be whatever compounds on that. And so when we get to December and we're thinking about brand visibility, it's going to be the work that we put in when nobody else wanted to work in the summertime, when nobody else was prepping in September, all those things. Like for me personally, December is on track to be my highest month ever. When most service providers will tell you that they don't make sales in Q4. So it's it's like how do we become strategic to ensure that we stand out above the noise? And it comes from to an element of trust. Like,
Yeah.
are they thinking of you now instead of other fabric providers because you wrote a note, even if part of it isn't handwritten, like the other part is. We're all realistic. We know people have lives. So the
Yeah.
fact that you took that time and when they bought something in April, they might tell a family member who will then go find you to go buy their Christmas present or their Hanukkah present or Kwanzaa. Pick your time of
Or gift
celebration.
cards.
Gift cards. Like it's the little things like that. And everybody always comes to me when I'm coaching and they're like, oh, it's November and I need a game plan. I was like, well, you're late. So let's talk about what we can do in this moment, but like, let's also be very realistic.
Yeah.
And
I get that question. I get that question. How do you make a go of it? How do you last? I mean, I've been doing this for 18 years now, and the answer is I show up every
yeah,
day.
don't give up.
No, you just show up.
As I would tell my girls, never give up, never give in. When we come to play, we play to win. Like, let's do it. Winning is a choice, everybody, and it's a choice of choosing you. It's a weird thing to have to talk about with fabric.
Isn't it though? I mean, this
But
time
they're
of year is
relatable.
not, it's not my busiest time because people are making things less. They were getting prepared for the Christmas gift season a long time ago. Over the summer they were buying things to make. I sell Christmas fabric after Christmas because they're already thinking about next Christmas.
Yep.
So December is not a hurry up last minute destination for my shop. I still do fine because people buy gift cards to give to people that are in
Who
that
buy fabric.
community. And now with the book, and I mentioned the part of my notes that's pre-printed, that is usually I will print off reviews of my book, because I'm trying to encourage people, hey, once upon a time you guys were telling me you need to write this book. So, well, here it is. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of a reminder that the book is out there, but then there's always something handwritten. So it feels a little bit more personal,
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah.
if you're handwriting all of your reviews, me and you need to talk about what a copy machine looks like, but you already know. You already know. So, I mean, you're the one with the dull blade on your paper cutter, so
Oh, and I get
there's
so
that.
mad when it
But
cuts it wrong.
I have one of those slide ones, and I get really upset when it starts getting dull and it like rolls up all the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, because I don't have space for like a good old fashioned elementary school whack
Yeah.
one. But tell me that you're talking with two crafters without telling me you're talking about with two crafters, right here
See?
and now. All my crafts are very paper made. I have a whole desk just dedicated to it. Um, so Kira, moving into the now, how do you define success for your brand today, and how has it evolved since you've begun?
I define success for my brand in being able to retire, being able to stay out of debt, being able to stay on this course, being able to hang up my resale hat one of these days. It's not just the Etsy fabric store. I have an entire garage office that is for eBay. I never gave it up because I make such good money on eBay. It's ridiculous, some of the things I buy and sell. So, I feel like I've arrived when I know that I can hang it up and that I can just write and just get back to that. And when I first started, yeah, I was buying things that were $2 and being happier than a loon if I made 100. And now I buy things for 600 and make 6,000. So it's, yeah, I figured it out and I stuck it out and I've been here for the long haul. I have a lot of advantages over, the millennials nowadays. No offense.
None
But
taken.
with their little cell phones, they think that they can show up to an auction and run the show. And it's not about the here and now. It's about having been here all along and watching the tides change and watching. Yeah, it's ever changing. You can't just step into this world and think you're going to last. It takes way more than that. So knowing that I can make a living, yeah, and I can retire, those are two really good things.
That's incredible. Also, the fact that you turned something from 600 to 6,000 is it's all very interesting to me. And I wouldn't even know what to do at an auction, to be real with you. If it's not an auction for charity, I'm probably lost. And let's be
Oh
real, I'm
gosh,
just
it's
usually the
so much
MC.
fun.
I'd be like, yeah. I wouldn't even know what to
The-
do. I'd just look at it and be like, that's cool. You got that? And I know me very well. So I would be very interested just to like sit there and watch the process more than I would want to participate in the process, just because I intrigued by that world. But I also was the
then
person
you
who
need
loved
to
it
read
too.
too. You need to read the book too, because
I
it'll go
know.
into all of that. Not the six thousand
Well,
dollar one, because that just happened.
okay.
Yeah, that one
All
will be
right.
in
Now I'm
book
like really
3.
intrigued. Every time you say something, all I see in my head is like an old fashioned Ninja Turtle,
An old
which
fashioned
might just
Ninja
explain
Turtle.
that I'm a boy mom in its
Yeah,
entirety. Full sentence.
Well, my boys were Ninja Turtle kids. They were there for the original. So
Yeah. Yep. When I was little, my mom, you know how like moms we practice animal sounds with our kids. Why I don't know, but
mhm.
like that's something we do. And so I guess my mom asked me, "What does a turtle say?" And my response was, because she was trying to throw me off, my response was "cowabunga, dude."
I was gonna say it first, and I'm like, nope, let her say it. It's her moment.
You could have said it with me. That's okay. Because fast forward, I have a sister who's 3 years younger than me, and my mom asked her, "What does a frog say?" And she said Budweiser. So, do you remember those ads?
I do remember those ads. I do.
Uh-huh.
And here's a really funny quick tale. When I was a big tomboy. When I was in fifth grade, my favorite pair of jeans blew out holes in the knees, and I actually went out and I got, I don't know why I thought Budweiser was cool in the fifth grade, but I did. And I ironed Budweiser patches, big rectangular uncut Budweiser patches on both of my knees. And that's when you could wear Budweiser patches to school in the fifth grade. You can't do that now. So,
I love how you have Budweiser patches and your fifth grade story, and I'm over here knowing what day trading was. Like,
see?
we were interesting children.
Mhm.
So funny. Oh my goodness. But you're right. During that time, it was like no big deal. Like people wanted the smoking camel, whatever his name was. Do you remember him?
Joe. His name was Joe.
Joe. His name was Joe.
Joe.
Um, I'm sure you remember this because your sons are around my age, but we had the like no smoking campaign so big as children.
Oh yeah.
Like
The
Dare
whole
was
Dare
huge.
program.
So I barely remember Joe because I was like 1, 2, 3 years old, and then Joe was no more.
No, he
So
went out with the
we had
Marlboro Man.
yeah, we had Smokey and Scuff McGruff.
Okay. Was he a crime dog?
He was a crime dog. He wore a detective like everything, and it was like it was it was really funny. You know what? If you find Scuff McGruff at an auction, I bet you could sell it for a ton to a millennial.
I was just going to say that because I recently bought and sold a plastic trick or treat bag with Scuff McGruff on it,
I remember that.
telling kids to be safe when they were trick or treating. And it was issued by Ponderosa. And it was something, see, and it's there. So I'll say so instead. So it was one of those things where it showed up randomly in a box of other things. But I looked at it, I'm
Yeah.
like, this is from when my kids, this is like 90s. This has to be worth something. So to me, it was free because I didn't set out to buy it. It was a bonus item. And I didn't break the bank or anything, but I think I sold it for like 15 bucks. It was a bag. It was a throwaway plastic bag, you know?
I had that for trick or treating, and I remember that bag.
So you ate a Ponderosa.
I actually had it in
Unfortunately.
Hawaii. Yeah, I had it in Hawaii. We had them on the Marine Corps base.
Oh,
Yeah, very just so random, and it was the Halloween of second grade.
okay.
I have very specific memories. I think that's something that this conversation is showing me is I have very specific memories from time. So, Kira, as we start to wrap up, and now I'm just like I feel like we need like a part two of all the things that you've ever sold, and what would interest all of us. But I'm gonna tell everybody they should just go read your book because that is where they're gonna learn some of these incredible moments, like Scuff McGruff, or what happens at an estate sale, and all those like fun pieces. But if someone is listening right now and they're standing on the edge of their own Luxe Leap, what advice would you give them?
Number one, it's never too late. I was 40 when I took my big leap. And I pivoted, geez, I started the Etsy shop. I was in my late 40s. I didn't write the books until I was in my early 50s. I mean, I'm not done yet. So it's never too late. And quite honestly, it was always in my brain that if I didn't come back to the writing at some point, that it was just going to always be a big regret. So just honestly, don't let it be a regret. If it's in there, it was meant to come out, is my philosophy. It's my opinion. It was put in there for a reason, and it's meant to come out. Just have to follow it, attack it, do whatever you have to do. It's your story. Get one chance to tell it.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love that. So, what is next for you, or what's the next bold move that you're going to be making?
I'm working on book 3. I'm kind of grounded right now. I put myself on hiatus because I had a really big, fat, huge auction series a year ago, and I'm still weeding through it. So yeah, book 3 might take a little longer to come out. I did put out a kid's book, which I did not think I was going to do. That's a whole nother story. That's also something I see in my retirement years, is working on the children's book series. Yeah, now that I've kind of cracked the code on writing, it's a lot of it is, I think, going to be writing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love it. And I can't wait to hear where these stories take you from this point forward. It's such a joy to get to know you, and you are so kind and incredible in all of your communication. So everyone who's listening, if you're buying the book, but like if you're buying fabric, she really does mean those little notes. Those things are just true to who she is as a human being. So, so incredible, so kind. I'm really
Thank you.
grateful you were able to be on the show today and kind of share what that process looks like, and what your journey looked like, and where it came from. So thank you so, so much for being here. And for my listeners, you know the drill. If today's episode has you rethinking how you're showing up and you're ready for a brand that actually turns heads, I'd love to invite you to book your Brand Muta Brand Breakthrough. It's my video deep dive brand audit that helps you see exactly what's working, what's not, and hey, what needs to shift to attract your champagne clientele. So you can grab your spot at graydigitalmktg.co/Brandmuta-review, or like I always tell you, don't run and grab a pencil, just click it in the show notes so you can start turning your clarity into confidence. Because let's be honest, everybody, vanilla opinions don't pop bottles, and you don't need to sound like everybody else. AI is doing a damn good job doing that for you.
Oh,
So,
amen.
I figured you'd like that. And Kira, how can people reach you?
Well, I am now we talked about this, and I have taken it seriously into consideration. I plan to do my website. I do. I don't have it yet, but that is also next on my agenda. You had a lot of amazing points about building the website, and there's so many things that I liked about your suggestions, and even being able to add into my note, hey, check out my website. Anyway, that is on my agenda. In the meantime, hop on over to my shop on Etsy.oddity. Even if you don't buy fabric, you can buy my books there. That's where I can sign my books. You can buy the books on Amazon. I can't sign them on Amazon. Yeah, you can find me. I have a Facebook author page. I have an Instagram page. I have a LinkedIn page. I am pretty good at getting back in a quick way. That's another way you have to stay top rated. You need to answer questions within 24 hours. So I'm pretty good with my emails. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love it. And I totally forgot, everybody. She did have her brand breakthrough prior to us having this chat. So
I did.
she's going to have a website to land all of
It's
those things
coming.
together to make it easy on you. It's coming. It's going to be amazing when it happens. Well, everybody, thank you so much for showing up with us whenever you're listening. And as always, we'll see you next Thursday. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.